Hello guys, welcome to the Blue Eye Auto channel. And I'm home again because we're all home in New York for social distancing. So I was thinking about refinancing my mortgage because the rates are so low right now. But do I want to go through all of that? Do I want to go through closing for them to start checking all my credit cards all over again, my credit worthiness and all the restrictions on it are going up and everything like that? Or do I just want to make an extra payment on it, which is equivalent to me getting a lower rate because I will be killing like X amount, thousands of dollars worth of interest by paying more on the principal. So since I'm in a situation, thank God, that I'm still working and I'm still getting paid. So I think I might, instead of opening my mortgage up again and starting 30 years all over again, I might just go for sending an extra payment. So I went to look for a payment calculator that would give me ideas of what to do. If I wanted to change my payment to biweekly payment, if I wanted to just send extra money, or should I go for a new rate? So I'm going to put in my numbers. I have been in my place for 4 years. I have a condo, so it's not housing prices I'm going to be putting in here. I'm putting in condo prices. And also, I am not living in the city because those prices are completely different than me living out here in Long Island, which is the suburbs. So I am in New York, but like I said, do it for your area and where you live at. So if you were in Jersey, if you were on the East Coast, Jersey taxes, no matter what you do, is very, very high. And then you can look at the cost of the taxes on your house in Long Island versus being in the city, which is the 5 boroughs. The 5 borough taxes is around $5,000, but Long Island, because you pay for the schools next to you, because it's not on the public school system like in the city. They have private schools over here as a very good education system in Long Island. But if you have, which I have, an elementary school next to me, a library next to me, a junior high school and a high school, so all of those are included in my property tax. So the taxes in Long Island are a lot higher. If you happen to have a college next to you in Long Island, then your taxes could skyrocket. So when you look for places, I think you should look at your area, what's around you, and then you kind of know what your tax rate is. Then if you're a new homeowner or if you have somebody older in your house, you can go to STAR and ask for a reduction in your taxes. But those are all things you have to consider and talk to your real estate agent, like when you're looking for a property. Also, the distance I am from the city, I had to include that in my, like, when I'm thinking about it, because I have to pay for Long Island Railroad, which is a lot more money than the regular MTA. So all of those things you think about. But overall, I think moving out here was a lot better than living in the city, because I don't like crowds. I'm from Texas, so I like open spaces. And even though I'm in New York, I still need a place where I can get open space, because I have lived in New York for like 9 years before coming to New York. So here you go. And this, I think for your jobs now, you're a little bit more mobile. So that's also a reason why I didn't go for a house, because I don't know if I'm going to live here forever. I might move again. So condo, I thought was a better option. I didn't want to just pay empty rent, but I didn't want to do a house either, because it's too much maintenance on a house. So anyway, here's my numbers. My place was $150, but my loan when I opened it was I only took out this much on loan, and my rate was this, and I took a 30-year. Now I have a condo, so I also have maintenance plus taxes and insurance in my payment. So my payment is about this. And since I started my loan since 2016, so I've been here 4 years already, so I have paid already 48 payments on a 30-year mortgage. So they ask you how much payment you did already. And then when is my next payment due? That'll be May. I already paid the one for April already. May 2020. Right? And then realistically now, I'm saying now because I'm just saying if I paid $100 more, because right now I'm not paying for Long Island Railroad. I'm barely paying for gas. I'm not eating out like I normally do, which was after work drink Fridays. I'm not doing any of that. So I have saved a lot of money in the 5 weeks that I have been home now. So I'm thinking comfortably, if I still want to go back to my same lifestyle when this is over, I should really be throwing at least $100 more on top of my monthly payment. So if I do that, let's see what my numbers look like. Do I want to refinance? Do I want to just commit to this extra 100 payments? Or do I want to change my payments to biweekly and see what those numbers do for me as far as lowering the interest I pay and the overall interest for the mortgage and paying it off a lot quicker? So we're going to calculate that now. Okay, so this is all I got. Somehow these numbers don't look right. Here we go. Interest rate looks crazy. That's why. All right, here we go. 11375. I was like, where are these numbers coming from? Make sure you put the right numbers in, because I was like, wait a minute, these numbers don't look right. Here we go. Yeah, this is my payment right here. This is my payment for this principal and interest. All the rest of this stuff here out of this 1526 is my maintenance, condo maintenance, the taxes, and the insurance for the condo. Okay, so right now, if I don't put anything extra, this is what I pay. I got 26 more years out of my 30-year mortgage. And at the end, basically I'm still paying my same rate and I don't save anything, right? Now, if I put an extra $100 on here, it changes my remaining payments just to 19 years instead of 26. I'm saving $18,000 in interest. Eliminated 81 payments, right? So I took off 81 payments I would have had to make. I'm getting a savings on my interest of $41,647. After 5 years, I should have this much equity in my house versus only having $18,000 in my house if I didn't do anything extra. After 10 years, I'll have this much equity in my house versus just having 32, right? So this is looking pretty good by just adding $100 more. If I change my payments to biweekly, which I'm paying $257, that's not going to be $257. It's going to be like splitting my whole 1526 in half. So, but anyway, the principal interest part of $257, that'll change my years to 22.5, and I don't have to put any more money here at all just to bring down the number of years I got to pay. It took away 4 years by just splitting it to bi-weekly payments. So something to think about without me paying any more money at all. Or I can do bi-weekly plus the $100 that I wanted to add to it. And then split the $50 bi-weekly. And it would change my payments, the years left to pay my house, down to 17 years. Okay. These numbers are looking pretty good. It's saving you interest and all this stuff just by adding an extra $100. So I'm thinking about adding the extra $100 instead of bothering opening back up the loan just to get a different rate. Maybe the way to go is just to add $100 here. So they also put extra stuff. This is a pretty good calculator. So they're saying to me now, by me adding an extra $100 is equivalent to if I change my rate down to 2.81, because that's how much interest I'm saving for the life of the loan by just adding $100. So I'm going to save $57,751 by just adding $100 per month. Well, you know what? I was thinking about calling my um, mortgage provider and saying, the rates are low. What's my new rate? But you know what? I think I'm going to go the route of just paying extra money. I think I might go that route because look, I took off basically like so many years already. Now let's see if I put some effort into it, maybe I can pay $200 more instead of just 100. And I just want to see what that would do for me in years and interest rate wise. Let's just see. All right, so instead of paying $5.14 for principal and interest, I'm going to pay $7.14. I'm really just going to look at this number here and not the other ones because I looked at it and this is clearly my better route, I think, to just do an extra payment instead of messing and opening my mortgage back up for refinance because I don't want to be tempted to take any money out of it. And they'd be like, oh, do you want to take any money out? I'm like, no, I just, I paid down all that equity. Why would I want to take any money out? Right? So, okay, so we start here. Well, by paying $200 extra per month, it changes my years. It's like I have a 15-year mortgage now. Look at that. It took away like half the years by adding $200. So it's a 15-year mortgage now. I'm saving $28,000 in interest. I took away 127 payments. Right? After 5 years, I'm going to have this much equity in. After 10 years, I'm going to have this much equity in there. And then average savings, save like $155 a month. But look what my new rate seems to be with all the interest I saved. Like if I have a 2.24 interest rate. Bam. That's probably the way I'm going to go. I think I could eke out $200 extra a month to pay on my mortgage. I'm going to go that route. And I'm going to feel like I got a 2.24% interest rate. Now, if you can't do that and you really need to lower your payment because it's more than you can handle, you can look at the rates and refinance your loan. The closing is normally around $3,000. And you probably want to go the route of getting a new rate. But since I don't even have that much left because it's a condo and it's not a house, like if I had like 300,000 here instead of the low number I have, because, then I'll probably think about refinancing. But for my specific circumstances, like I'll put this calculator down in the YouTube page so you can figure out your own numbers and look at this and see what would be best for you. But since it was on my mind and everybody's talking about mortgage rates and how JP Morgan is making it harder for you to get a loan, you got to have a 700 score or something. And when you go for a house, you got to put 20% down. When I went in my house, I only put down 8% on it. So, and then the closing and everything, because sometimes they take more for your escrow depending on if you was coming in to your house close to when you got to pay taxes. You pay taxes May and December here. So I closed in April, that means that I didn't have that much time to build up my escrow. So I did put more in closing when I closed because I knew the payment for the taxes were coming up really quick. So it depends on when you move and what's going on. So other stuff to think about too when you're buying your house is what states have no income tax, because I'm in state that's the highest, almost New York and California. They take so much money out of your paycheck till it's like crazy. So these states don't have tax. When I used to be in Texas and I was making a lot less money, I felt like I had more money because they didn't take out any state tax. And forget about local tax. They don't even have that over there. But if you're in New York and you live in Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Manhattan, on top of state tax, you get a local tax. When I moved out here to Long Island, at least I saved money by that because I can't get hit with local tax, but I still get state tax. So just make sure you know all this stuff and make sure your paychecks are right, because it probably makes sense for you to think about. Like if you have a stay-at-home job where you're working from the house constantly, maybe you want to think about being in one of these states. that they don't take out state tax. So when you file tax at the end of the year, you only have to file a federal tax return. You do not have to file a state tax return when you live in Texas, which I used to live in. You don't have to file a state tax return. It's just your federal tax return. And I tell you, you do feel like if you move from New York and went to Texas and you have the same salary, you'll feel like you got a pay hike because you'll see the big difference between them taking out state tax and not taking out state tax. Also, something to think about is a property tax chart. So if you look, the states with the highest to lowest, from the lowest to the highest. So if you live in Hawaii, is the lowest property tax all the way down. And I told you, they said New Jersey has the highest property tax. They got New York about right here. Like, it's not that far from the bottom. But if you live in Long Island, these numbers are completely different. These numbers are completely different if you're in Long Island. Long Island has very high property taxes. So, again, I'll put this calculator, the link for this calculator inside of the video section, so you can look at it and just look at your numbers, because this is a good time. Like I said, I'm home. I got a lot of time right now. I'm working, but I got all my time that I took to go home, travel time, that I don't have to do anymore, which it took me about an hour and a half to get out here to Long Island from the city. So I got my extra hour and a half of my free time back. So I'm thinking about all these things. Obviously, at this situation, you're going to think about how to lower your costs. So that, and like prescriptions that you got, like if you got Disney, Hulu, and Netflix, and Prime, maybe you want to get rid of 3 of them and just keep one. Just saying, this is just ways to save money. Anyway, thanks, guys. Let me know if this helped you at all, because it helped me. Just looking at the numbers, I think I'm going to go with the extra payment of $200 and knock out half the years on my 30-year mortgage and save a ton of interest. And also make me look like I have a rate of 2.24 instead of 4.3 on my mortgage. So if this helped you at all, that's great. Anyway, this is the Blue Ayato channel. Just looking out for you guys. Talk to me in the comments. Okay, bye.